mysterious drone spotted in the tri-state area now reported to be flying illegally over Gabreski Airport in Suffolk. News 12's Logan Crawford spoke with the Suffolk County executive and sheriff about how they plan to prevent drones from posing a danger.
This buzzing heard overhead can be alarming.
Drones frighten me to begin with.
They may be frightening to some and possibly dangerous to others, so Suffolk County wants to put a stop to unauthorized drones flying over restricted airspace.
The ones we're talking about could be 20 times larger than this, sometimes as large as a car.
The Suffolk County Sheriff's Office says since the middle of December, 28 drones have been spotted flying over or near Gabreski Airport in Westhampton Beach.
It's impacted air operations, and we're not going to stand for it.
On December 17th, a flight was delayed because 4 drones were spotted in the flight path. Like the drones reported flying over the rest of the tri-state area, Suffolk County officials say the drones flying over Gabreski Airport are a mystery. They say they will now be using mobile detection technology to try to identify them.
We wanted people to understand the dangers. Are their drones registered? Are they, do they realize the airspaces that they can fly and cannot fly it in?
Suffolk officials say this technology will hopefully help them find out where these drones are taking off from and who is flying them. They're also calling on the FBI and the FAA to help.
It's definitely concerning, and, I feel like somebody knows something and we should know that.
Suffolk County officials say if you know about any drones flying illegally, report it to local law enforcement. In Westhampton Beach, Logan Crawford, News 12 Long Island.
The Suffolk Sheriff's Office says they will be implementing the mobile detection system at Gabreski Airport as soon as the end of the day.
On the East Coast this morning, the drone sightings that had parts of New York and New Jersey looking up to the skies in recent weeks for more than a month, they've stopped since the FAA implemented its temporary ban. The Pentagon says, simply put, the drones do not pose a threat. A former astronaut who spent 15 years with NASA says he came into contact not with a drone, but another unidentified object last summer. Joining me now is that former astronaut, Leroy Chiao.
But you also had an incident yourself, right? What happened?
Well, right.
What did you see, and what do you think it was?
Right, and that was in August. I was flying back from Colorado, and I just refueled in the panhandle of Texas in my small airplane, and I was flying back to Houston on an instrument flight plan, and we were in clear air, and I was about 9,000 feet, and suddenly, out of nowhere, these 2 big metallic spherical orbs, one on top of the other, about 3 feet in diameter each, went zipping by the left side of my airplane right underneath, about 20 feet away. And I got a good look at them only for a second. And, it happened so quick, there wasn't even a chance to get scared, but it could have been a bad result if they had actually hit me. So
what do you think it was?
That was mysterious. It wasn't on radar. Air traffic control certainly didn't alert me. It wasn't on my display that shows other airplanes that are participating with the FAA required transponders. So I don't know what it was. My first guess is it's some kind of a military program, a drone of some kind. But it's hard to say, right?
Do you think they knew that they were messing around with someone who used to be up on the International Space Station?
Frankly, I think whoever was operating the drone wasn't aware that I was there, right? Huh. So it's just kind of dumb luck that they didn't hit me, and it kind of makes me a little more wary as a pilot, and I'm keeping my eyes out a little more outside than I used to.
Is the government doing enough, Leroy?
What's that?
Is the government doing enough?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
Is the government doing enough? Do you think they're doing enough to basically get to the bottom of this, or tell us? Well, I think they could be a little more transparent. I think they could tell us what they know. I mean, and like I said, if they really don't know, that's a little more disconcerting, right? I mean, shouldn't they know? I mean, how could we have the best, most advanced military and capabilities, technological capabilities in the world, and if they don't know, that's even more disconcerting. Leroy Chiao, former NASA, former commander of the International Space Station, had an incident of his own and, of course, is asking questions just like the rest of us.
But I was thinking to myself when I was reading your story, did Tower not tell you, that this was coming? Nothing showed up on your instruments? I mean, that's wild. Right. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, never. This is the first and only time I've ever seen it. It was a little bit earlier this year in August, so nothing before or since.
And your resume, I mean, you have such a lengthy and impressive resume. 3 space shuttle flights. You were the commander on the Expedition 10. You have no reason to make this up. Have you gotten any pushback, after coming public with your story?
No, actually, I kind of kept it to myself. I told a few people about it at the time, but really hadn't talked about it till I was asked on an interview on, if I had seen anything strange before. And I just, like I said, at the time, I assumed it was a secret government program. And so, I hadn't talked about it till being asked. But no, I haven't really gotten any pushback.
Yeah, good. So what's your take on what we've seen the past, month and change over the Northeast and these drones over Jersey? You think the government knows more than they're telling us?
Well, it's mysterious. I would hope that our government would be able to track and detect things like this, because obviously an enemy could use this kind of thing if we couldn't, to cause some kind of issues for us. So I guess I have a hard time believing the government is telling us everything they know about what these things are. Interesting, as you reported, that since the FAA temporary flight restrictions went up, that the activity has dropped off dramatically. That's interesting. That suggests it is, civilian operators of commercial drones. But some of these things, I guess, are pretty huge. So it's hard to believe somebody has the resources to, buy a fleet of these things and operate them the way that has been reported.
State and local officials are banding together, seeking answers to the mysterious drone sightings, so they will be ready to handle potential threats in the future. Nate Foy is in Jersey City, New Jersey. If there are drones tonight, probably won't be Santa Claus, though it might be. But what are they prepared to do about the drones that are out there now?
John, they have no idea really how to handle this, because New Jersey hosted a meeting with various law enforcement agencies at the state level on Friday of last week, and they discussed protocol for how to deal with this. But ultimately what they came to is, if there isn't congressional action, the counter-drone authority really lies with federal authorities rather than state and locals right now. So they're kind of hamstrung on how they can deal with this, and this comes as the reported drone sightings are decreasing significantly, just 1 per night over the past several nights, which is down from 150 per night very recently. And that's something that at least one New Jersey state trooper is very happy about. Listen to this.
I'm glad that the temperatures kind of come down on the issue, but I still think it let us know in law enforcement that we have a little ways to go on those fronts on detection and mitigation. So we'll put our heads together.
Take a look at this, John. A woman in Far Hills, New Jersey took this picture last week. Federal and state authorities continue saying there's no reason to worry. And it's not just New Jersey waiting for answers. Drones have been spotted in 11 states, from California to New Jersey and New York, where drones are temporarily banned from flying over more than 50 critical infrastructure sites. And the NYPD wants those restrictions to continue in New York. Meanwhile, here in New Jersey, we are outside a power station in Jersey City, one of the 22 protected sites in the state. That means that drone pilots can't fly within 1 nautical mile of here. If they do, they can be detained and their drone can be taken down. Those restrictions right now are set to expire in the middle of next month, John.